Venus and star blessings, everybody. Just a few comments on transiting Pluto in Aquarius with the Sun in Aquarius, and the Sun coming to a square with Uranus in a few days' time as well. Really powerful energies. The last couple of days I've been thinking so much about what is uncomfortable for all of us. And the very thing that's uncomfortable for all of us is always something that we resist. And I'd like to perhaps read this quote to validate that statement, actually. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Now, that is by Martin Luther King. Indeed, he was a king. Pluto is such a powerful force that is predominantly unconscious. In our own chart, it means, very specific things. I'm not going to go into natal interpretation, but just Pluto as a transit collectively at the moment in the archetype of Aquarius is really stirring up a collective awakening. We all are aware of that. This collective awakening is not comfortable for anybody. There are so many storylines and so many things going on that people either choose to be proactive about, deny, participate in, ignore, challenge, whatever it may be. I think ultimately, if we can remove the matters of identity, that's the big key here. Because when we identify with a religion, a particular anything, just anything we identify with, reduces it down to prejudices, rights and wrongs. If we remove all the layers of all those different identities and beliefs, we are basically, we come back to center, which is humanity, which is caring about humanity, caring about the earth, caring about all of us as a family, instead of excluding, being prejudiced, being ignorant and stupid. Pluto also corresponds to abduction. Actually, abducting somebody is actually a Pluto portal. And there has been a very significant abduction in Palestine with a young media person whose name is, I just want to tell you his name actually, because he's a Canadian Palestinian actually. He's a citizen of Canada, okay? And he's been on ground basically filming and recording real life what is going on there. Whether we like it or whether we don't, or whether we ignore it, or whether we resist it, or whether we deny it or block it or whatever, it doesn't matter. It is happening. And he's just one of the people out of many who has been filming it. And he's such a warm-hearted, beautiful soul in the midst of terror and chaos, things exploding everywhere, unlived matters being created virtually every second, and he's there smiling every day. He has been abducted. It has been 7 days now since he's gone missing, and it was validated just yesterday, I think it was, that he's been abducted by the IOF. Okay, so I'm relating that to Pluto. Pluto being conjunct the Sun. I really hope that he is released and he is safe and he goes back to his family, because he's a father, he's got children. You can imagine what that situation would be like. And he's not a part of any specific group in Palestine. He's just an independent journalist. Anyway, I put that down to Sun Pluto, and I send so much protection for him and for his safe return. So let me just bring up a chart. I've noticed that every time I talk about Palestine, the hidden little forces, entities, whatever they are, don't like it. And this is where my next quote comes in. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. Now, that is from Albert Einstein. I'm sure most of you have heard of that quote. I think that's a really valuable statement, quote, thought, insight. Really always has been, but especially in times where the truth is just being censored every single day, censored everywhere. If we do not ask the question, why is this truth being censored, or why is this information being censored? If you don't believe it's true, let's just bring it down to information, footage, people's experiences, people's lived experiences. If we don't question that, then we need a brain lobotomy. I'm being pretty strong today because I'm just, honestly, I'm just fed up with the ignorance, the sheer censorship, the sheer BS. You know, if one nation, one country, one peoples is not free and liberated, none of us are. If you don't understand that, you've got your head tucked into the sand. So getting back to Pluto, which brings up these intense passages, these intense emotions, to bring it to a lighter note, the sun is our spirit energy, pure spirit energy. It is the light. The light is the truth. Sun god Apollo, the god of truth. The sun has the same type of energy about it. It is spirit energy, it is truth, it is light. So in the archetype of Aquarius, it is humanity's spirit connecting with the soul of humanity, Pluto in Aquarius. So we are undergoing a journey at the moment, one we have never undergone in our lifetime. Further to that, as I've mentioned before, the sun ingressing into zero Aquarius and Pluto into zero Aquarius, that conjunction has not occurred for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. It is a totally new experience for all of us in so many ways that our little brain cannot possibly fathom the level of significance of these energies. And again, if I'm to bring it down to one statement, it would be that. It would be to say that we are being asked to step into our spirit, source, light, sun in Aquarius as a collective family in unison, in truth, justice, fairness, equality, Aquarius, for the soul of the world, Pluto in Aquarius. And it is uncomfortable for a lot of people. People are uncomfortable about mediocre, basic, mundane bullshit. For example, having a conversation or having a disagreement with somebody in a shop, in the context of wherever. You know, people don't like to feel uncomfortable. That's the Libran component of the personality level of Libra. Now, I know a lot of you Librans are going to come back and say, oh, no, I don't mind conflict. No, I'm really dark. That's fine. I'm not speaking about you as an individual. I'm speaking as a general archetypal energetic influence. Libra is the archetype that ultimately seeks to balance and restore balance But through that, it can also avoid the unpleasantness of life, because Libra is ruled by Venus. Doesn't like to feel unpleasant things. It doesn't like to see unpleasant things. So it will gloss over, it will hide, it will deny, it will, be the peacemaker to avoid the things that are not pleasant, the things that are uncomfortable. That's just a fact. But when we have Pluto's like the sun, when we have energies like the sun in Aquarius, conjunct Pluto in Aquarius, sun coming up to a square to Uranus, we are being asked to step into what is uncomfortable for a very specific purpose, and that is the unity of humanity. The standing for truth, justice, fairness, equality, truth, as uncomfortable as it is. Our challenges and our evolutionary growth as a human being, as a person, as a soul, as a woman, as a man, as a mother, as a father, as a brother, a sister, whatever, all those identities that we have. When we truly grow within ourselves, it never comes in a nice little box wrapped up in ribbons and handed to you and said to you, there you go, there's your gift of growth. We must endure what is uncomfortable. We must face inside ourselves what we are unconscious about. We must try to recognize what is it about that is a part of ourselves in some kind of way. Whatever we suppress and deny, we will see outside of ourselves. It's as simple as that. Pluto exposes everything that is hidden. Pluto is the soul, the individual soul, the soul of humanity. It rules the riches deep in our soul. It rules the unconscious components within our soul. It corresponds to abduction, abuse of power, obsession, jealousy, manipulation, control, misuse of control and power. So it depends how that energy is, I suppose, embodied, experienced, perceived, felt, projected, and so forth. But this is not just about you as an individual or me as an individual. Right now, this is about the entire freaking human family, about the entire human race. Just remember, if one nation or one country isn't free, none of us are free. Because these matters that are taking place, they will come to everybody's door at some point. Maybe not to this extent, but in some way, shape, or form, they will arrive. Why? Because we have given our power away. Is that clear? I hope so, because I don't know how to make it more clear than that. The square between the Sun and Uranus, which is, virtually within range now and will really amplify over the next week or so. Clearly we're just going to see a lot more rebellious behavior, revolutions, uproars, you name it. There's so much of that going on anyway, which of course is never spoken about in mainstream media. You either have to go and dig and search around, look for it in non-mainstream, non-consensus reality platforms, and so on and so forth. It is exhausting. It is overwhelming. It does get too much for our central nervous system to focus on all of that too much. And I'm not suggesting that we should be, in that 24/7. That's not healthy for any of us. But it's also not healthy for us to remain ignorant, stupid, unaware, and in denial. We have to get out of our little box, our little comfort zone, which is Saturn, and go into the waters, the fields that are unknown, which is Uranus. Uranus is the unknown. It's logical. When you think you know something, and when you think you have control over something, it provides a sense of security for you, which is a false sense of security. Because in truth, anything can change at any moment, anything. So in order to get out of our little comfort zone and that little fixed position, that controlled fixed position that makes us feel safe, we have to step out into what is unknown. Why is it unknown? Because it's not familiar to us. We haven't been there. We haven't tried it. We haven't opened ourselves up to that possibility, whatever it is. So Sun square Uranus is a test for us to come closer to breaking out of our little conditioned identities, roles, perceptions, ideas, ideologies, whatever it is, testing us on that level. And Uranus, of course, is the ruler of the sun sign, Aquarius. Uranus is the ruler of Pluto's sign, Aquarius. This is huge. It speaks volumes into the sheer opportunity, right, to seriously wake the fuck up. It's going to be uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable. Life was not supposed to be comfortable all the time. How can you grow if you just sit in comfort zone 24/7? We have a calling here. It is a collective calling to rise together, to rise to the truth together, to have the balls and the courage to say no to the BS on every spectrum. There are farmers in Europe protesting to the hilt. They've actually brought their animals, their big, what are those things called? Those big trucks, tractors, whatever they're called. They've brought them into the city, you know, in front of politicians' buildings and offices, and they're dumping, you know, shit or hay or whatever it is. They've, you know, it's chaotic what's going on, and rightly so, because these energies are about humanity rising to the truth, to justice, to fairness, to equality, to unity, not against each other. The program and the plan has always been to promote narratives that cause our little egos to come into conflict with each other so that there can be this division. A 5-year-old can actually see that. It is so freaking obvious. We have a choice in this, because the choices we make now speak to the future generations. We are teaching our children. We are teaching the youth, the young ones, to either stand for truth or to basically have no spine, no backbone, no balls, and just bow down. What's it going to be? I know what I would do if I had a child. Just saying. I guess the Mars-Mercury conjunction is animating this dialogue for me today. You know, there is a lot of passion behind my words, for sure. There always is anyway. You know, I'm a very passionate individual, and I don't shy away from speaking about uncomfortable topics in order to try and please everybody. It's impossible to please everybody. And if you are on that game, I feel sorry for you, because you're never going to accomplish it, because it's just totally unrealistic. And fundamentally, it comes back to, what are we doing as individuals, as souls, to honor our truth, to honor our light, to spread that, to speak that, to shine that? What are we doing? Again, as I said, it's never a comfortable topic, and it's never a comfortable thing to challenge ourselves with. But this is the calling right now, these windows right now. And Pluto in Aquarius is going to be that multiplied in so many different ways for the next 20 years. This is just the beginning. But the month of January has been primal for these sorts of things because of that Sun-Pluto conjunction at 0 degrees. Very critical, which is speaking to future matters. You know, we, as humans, we tend to want immediate results. You know, we want to do something, we want to have something, we want to create something, and we want it now, we want it yesterday. We've lost patience. We've lost the value of soul, actually. I just saw an article on, what is it? Some company, it's like I knew about this from a few years ago, but now it's been confirmed that it's pretty much almost ready to go. It's a device that's been created to elicit dreaming, you wear this device, and this device enables you to go into your dreaming world, and it can manipulate to do certain things, for instance. And part of the slogan for that marketing was Uranus or Prometheus stole fire from the gods. We are going to steal, what was it? We are going to steal, let me just see, because I really don't want to say it incorrectly, because it was just so valuable. Did I delete it? I may have. Anyway, it was a slogan that really just, when you break it down, the psychology behind it is essentially man, ego, personality, trying to play God. And what is the motivation behind it? The motivation is because part of their slogan and part of their thinking and part of their what they really want to achieve out of this is they even said this in this article. They said that through this particular mechanism, we can make people work in their sleep. Work in their sleep. So not only do they want to enslave humanity in the waking state, now they want to actually enslave them in the sleeping state. Yeah. It's going to get pretty weird with Pluto in Aquarius, that's for sure. But as weird as it gets, as crazy as it gets, there's going to be grand revolutions and grand awakenings on every single level. There is no two ways about that. There's no Libran about this. It's just Aries. It's going to happen. That Mars square Chiron square North Node, I think that's been pretty interesting. Mercury's tapping into that too. You know, that can be a lot of different things, to be quite frank. You know, I've seen people talking about it from the point of view of, you know, the wounded masculine having an opportunity to do some healing on themselves and so on and so forth. And yeah, sure, it can be that, but there's something much deeper than that from a collective level. And of course, you know, Capricorn, it is systems and it is military. Mars is military as well. And so there's some things going on there that do speak to the, you know, matters in that part of the world that are extremely chaotic. And there's, you know, several countries involved in ways that we don't even know about. Trust me, there's some things going on that people have no idea about. Primarily because they're sitting in their little comfort zone, because it's nice and cushy there, isn't it? But if you remember that if one country is not free, no one is free. You need to understand that the sheer power of that statement and the truth of it. It's not an idea, it's not a perception. So you have to understand the depth of that true insight. That's what Pluto in Aquarius is showing us, how we can actually rise above that. I'm going to leave it there because it is really hot here today. Summer's sort of come a little bit late for us. I'll see you guys soon. I hope that my sentiment and messages have come through in the way that they are intended, which is with truth, love, light, and no freaking BS. I'm not going to talk BS to get more subscribers, to get more likes. It's just not, that's not how I'm built. And thank God for that. If you're interested in joining my classes, they are starting on the 9th of February. It's a 12-week series this time around. It's going to be phenomenal. My style is eclectic, as most of you are aware. You will definitely learn more than one or two things. So reach out if you want to know more. And I suppose, yeah, perhaps just reflect on your own position at the moment, about the world, about your place in it, and how with the way you are living, with what you are doing and with what you are saying, how is that contributing to humanity rising together in truth and justice and fairness? And like I said at the very beginning, we cannot come to that place if we just merely stay in our little box and our little identifications. Not going to happen. But it's up to us, because we can transcend those limiting perceptions, beliefs, and positions. We can. It is our choice at the end of the day. See you soon. Much love and Venus star blessings.